Hi, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I have a layout to share for Hip Kit Club using the June 2022 kits, which are gorgeous and summery, lovely bright colours, and they are a mix of Hip Kit exclusives, simple stories and Heidi Swap products, so lots of different bits and bobs that go together really nicely. And today I'm actually going to be focusing on the chipboard elements that we get in the kits. So we have a 6x12 sheet of chipboard stickers and also a set of chipboard frames, both from the Simple Stories Let's Go collection. So I'm going to be focusing on those today, and I've selected this particular chipboard frame that I want to use. However, the design I had in mind would have suited just one frame better, and obviously this one, as you can see, it's like a double frame, has space for two 3x4 photos or a photo and a journaling card, and it was just a little bit big for what I wanted to do. So I decided to chop it in half and make it work for me. So I've chosen the yellow side as opposed to the pink because I just felt it was a bit more masculine, and I only ever really scrapped photos of my little boy, so the yellow worked better, I felt. And I've obviously had to then cut through the word travel as well that was in the centre of the frames, but that's no biggie because I'm going to cover that corner with embellishments and make that frame work for me and my design idea. So I've got my frame prepped and backed with my photo. Now I'm turning to one of the Hip Kit exclusive patterned papers, and I love this paper. All the colours in it just remind me of ice lollies or ice pops, like the Mr. Freeze pops you get where you have to chop the top of the plastic off and push them up. I just don't know why, it's just really reminded me of those. So nice and summery, and it is full of lovely colours as well, so it really spoke to me. And it's full of horizontal strips of sort of paper that have vertical lines going down them, and you've got some that are wider and some that are thinner, and I decided to chop it apart. They're not straight lines, they're kind of jagged and mishmash, so I've kind of followed that pattern with my scissors as I've cut, and then I'm running an edge distresser down all the edges to introduce some texture before I kind of rebuild the paper back on my background. And the initial idea I had didn't really work out. I initially planned to use the wider strips across the page horizontally and cut them of different lengths, so there's like a short one and a long one and a short one and a long one, leaving a gap, a sort of a small gap in between, and then I was going to fill that gap by layering one of the thinner strips on top. And you'll see in a minute I have a play doing that, and it just looked way too blocky in the centre of the page, and it wasn't really singing to me, didn't really like it. So I have a bit of a play and play around with the bits of paper and strips in different ways until I'm happy with a composition. So there we go, those are all cut and distressed now, and you can see the texture that running the edge distressing tool down the sides has introduced, and I love to have lots of texture on my layouts. And this pattern paper obviously started off flat. I'm going to introduce loads and loads of texture, so I've distressed the edges. I'm also going to curl the ends of the paper up, and I'm also going to add some machine stitching through it, so lots of texture being introduced to that patterned paper. And you can see here I'm having a bit of a play and trying to decide what to do with it. The diagonal strips were singing to me more than the horizontal ones, but I still wanted to have that idea in mind of having one shorter, one longer, and the varying lengths, and I especially needed to do that now. To have them diagonally, they didn't quite reach the edges of my white cardstock, so I knew I had to do something. So rather than cutting or tearing the papers at the lengths I wanted, I decided to roll them up. So that's going to introduce loads of texture and dimension and a bit more interest. And as the strips had vertical stripes going down them, it was quite easy to roll. Just kind of followed the lines of the pattern. And I do end up bringing in a paintbrush in a minute to help me. But I just start off rolling these edges just to see if I like how it's looking. Before I go any further, and then I'm going to get them tacked in place with some double-sided tape and then machine stitch through those once I'm happy with them. And there we go, as if by magic all my strips are now tacked in place with some double-sided tape, And I'm just rolling those edges over, and I'm using a paintbrush because it gives me a nice rounded roll. When I'd done it with my fingers, it was kind of square and jagged and just didn't look very fluid. So the paintbrush is giving me a nice rounded curl on those ends. Just gonna help my little boy with his tractor and trailer quickly, and then I'm gonna get my sewing machine out and stitch white running thread all through those strips, and that will hold those in place nicely. Obviously I've not gone right up to the ends because those papers need to curl in, but yeah, that's how it looks now. So I've introduced loads of texture to that paper and really love how that's turned out. And now I can get my photo in place and the fun part of embellishing can begin. Obviously I've got to cover that bottom right hand corner of that chipboard frame because I'd cut the word travel up. So there is a little car, I think it's meant to be a VW Beetle with some suitcases on top. And I thought that was perfect because the photo I'm scrapping today is of my little boy and my husband in the back of my car. Now I've got a 7-seater car, proper like family people carrier. And we were heading off on holiday when this photo was taken. So I've got my little boy and my husband in the back, along with 2 of our cats in their travel crates. And then in the front of the car, I've also got the 3rd cat and a small hamster cage with our 8 rats in, and obviously all our luggage in the boot. So the car was jam-packed for this holiday. We were staying at my parents' house, so we get the other end, and obviously the cats can have free rein of the house, and the rats have got a nice big cage set up there. But yeah, there was no room to move in this car. It was jam-packed. So I thought that little car chipboard piece was quite fitting. And I've also pulled out from one of the die cut packs a little stack of suitcases there that made me giggle as well, because obviously the boot was just filled right to the roof. I couldn't even see out my rear view. It was just jam-packed. But that's what we have to do to go on holiday, because my husband's annual leave is always a bit last minute and the cattery's always booked. So all the animals come with us. It's a proper family holiday. So yeah, suitcases and the car I thought worked quite well. I've also placed another chipboard piece up the top left there just to create a little cluster in that open space, and it says "This Way to Fun," so I liked that, and the colours worked really well with that Hip Kit patterned paper. Now the chipboard I'm using is Simple Stories, so it just goes to show how well Hip Kit match their exclusives to the collections that are in the kits. So love the colours in this, and I've got the chipboard title as well. That is Simple Stories, and it says "Let's Get Away." Again, beautiful colours and patterns that work so well with that exclusive patterned paper. I've also added a chipboard suitcase over onto the right hand side. So like I said, focusing on chipboard, there is loads of it on this layout. And then diagonally going through the layout, I've also got some little chipboard clusters there. They're just little colourful crosses that I thought just extended my design onto the white background quite nicely. And now I'm at the stage where I need to start getting things stuck down. So I've added some craft foam behind my photo to raise it up and bring in a bit more dimension. But because I've got those chipboard pieces stuck to that frame, I now need to raise the back of some of those up with foam as well, just so that it all sits level on my background and I get a good connection and things can stick. So I just added some sticky pads on the back of those, and I decided to stick my photo and the frame off centre. It just meant there was a little bit more space over on the left there for my title and the suitcase, and that's then what created that open space up the top to enable me to have a little cluster up there as well. But just simply working my way around now, getting everything stuck down, mostly with double-sided tape and foam pads just to continue that dimension. I've also added a few puffy stickers. Those are from the Heidi Swap products. So I've got a little tab with sort of rainbow colours over on the left of my photo there that says "My Favourite," and I've also added some puffy heart stickers as well. Now I'm going through the Heidi Swap sticker book. I think this collection's called Sun Chaser. I can never remember it, but it has got some gorgeous colours that match the Hip Kit products and the Simple Stories products really well. And I'm just pulling out some of these alpha stickers there, well, the numerical ones, and I've just put 2021 up the top. This photo was on August 2021, so obviously that makes sense. And now I'm just going through the collection looking for little bits and pieces that I might want to add. And I was trying to find something circular to kind of build a little cluster. I wanted to use one of the Simple Stories, I think they're Puffy Stickers, on top of a round sticker, but I couldn't find anything that was taking my fancy. But I did like this little kind of like a number plate that says road trip, lovely rainbow colours. I thought that worked really well, obviously, with the theme of my photo. So got that stuck in quickly, and then went back to the idea of trying to do this kind of circular, sort of like a homemade embellishment, if you like. And once I decided on a sticker, I then couldn't really find a place that I thought it would naturally sit without looking a bit odd. So scrapped that idea completely. Always happens to me. I have these ideas and sometimes they just don't work, so I have to scrap them. But I have added a few little sort of enamel heart stickers there, and those are from a Maggie Holmes collection. Get a lovely little set of those in the kits this month. And then I'm just finishing my layout off with some black splatters. Because I've used that black die cut that says road trip to the top right of my photo, I felt like I needed a bit more black on the page, just for a bit of drama and to tie it all in together. So I've added some watered down black acrylic paint, I've just splattered that on, and that is my layout finished today. So lots of chipboard on this layout, and I hope you've enjoyed it and it's given you some inspiration in using your kits. Don't forget, if you are a Hip Kit subscriber, there are loads of benefits for you. Obviously you get a discount on your main kit and free postage on any additional kits you purchase, and you also get access to the subscriber cut files for free as well. So I will pop the benefits down in the description box for you. I'll also pop some links down there to our website, to the subscription page, and also to our Facebook group. So if you're not already a member, head on over there and join, because there is loads of inspiration to be found. But thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.